Obsidian Blues, Detroit, are they here? The youth group, let's bring them up. And after that, we'll bring up JoAnn Watson, who is here, who is going to be honored today.
Hello! We're the Obsidian Blues Crew. I am Sharina Sharp. I'm a teaching artist, and I've had the amazing experience of traveling throughout the Detroit public schools where I have met these amazing youth writers. They range in age from 14 to 20, and the thing that they all have in common is that as they were writing, they were speaking about Trayvon Martin, and they said that they felt invisible, and we thought that we would do something about that. They are clearly not invisible. In honor of Dr. King's birthday, we were speaking about social justice and how all of the answers lie in one place, one word, and that's love. So in researching Dr. King, we decided to write a piece in his honor called By the Power of Your Love.
The past and the future collide. Doves glide through the tsunami winds created from our bodies.
As we walk on jagged edges, they become straight lines.
By the power of my love, I grasp the shoulders of young Malcolm X and Edgar Allan Poe.
Rebellious and led by angels with iridescent smiles yelling out, OBC!
Ready to make demons of injustice flee.
By the power of your love, I can travel time. I can unravel those tattered ropes and exchange them for newly braided restoration.
But Katie, I don't let your mind wander in that direction. You're here now.
You can heal those who have hurt you.
For they have only strengthened you.
Forge the blocks of their small minds higher than the Eiffel Tower. And I'm trying to mold those mountains in the inner chi that represents us properly. You see, we design our own Mount Rushmores through the power of your love.
Barricades shatter.
Eviscerate the limitations of space.
Monkeys and gorillas from the planet of the apes bow at our grace to the power of your love.
I resign and present me freely as you push deeper against walls that were built to conserve.
Touchdown, score, freedom! Through the power of our love.
Man, so no half-stepping. Until y'all envision our progression.
We're opportunists. We're obsessed with the simple thought of perfection.
And right there blossoms a lesson that I never seem to question. You see, long as it's from the heart, it's already perfect.
No, that it is me. That I'm rumbling. I'm revitalizing that earth beneath your feet. By the power of our love, I uplift everyone around me. I coax clouds to step aside, and I grasp the tops of your skull caps as my souls leave the ground. When I levitate, I take you with me.
We silence tyrants.
And give Simon an assignment.
Core setting brighter than a discharging star.
Giving sight to those who don't see at all.
Being a father.
Mother. A sister.
And a brother. And evaporating segregation of color. Because on the inside,
we're all just cotton candy. Truly is guava. Savoring memories of blood.
People, man.
I remember desiring my freedom with the knowledge of who I really am. An ancient king.
A slave.
A blacksmith.
Revolutionary. Warrior.
That makes me the strongest person here by the power of your love.
Love ignites the dust between apathy and humanity. It eclipses my insecurity so I can cherish that ivory tulip blossoming in my shadow. We ascertain the wisdom of those before us, lurking through unkept eyes of justice,
freedom,
liberty,
and equality.
Feeling that emotion, stabbing it deep within.
Whenever we thought that their tortures were in vain.
Envision the activists fighting for our rights, kick aside and lighten like heavenly scripture.
Fighting to break the chains of injustice and educate the youth.
Bringing justice to the native.
Burning those blankets filled with smallpox.
Bringing life to those where death was adjacent. Through the power of your love, I can accomplish all things.
For your love is a better teacher than all of my violent tribulations.
Our benevolence eradicates hate. We engulf defeat. And we felt obsolete amongst the least. But we still taste that buttermilk sweet sugar of victory if one person was moved by this message through the power of your love.
I empower me. Move when I walk in the room. Let the sun shine through. I am just a reflection of the God in you.
And darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. And hate sure can't drive out hate. Only love can do that.
Dr. King's reality check payment was 1,000,000 feet walking across pavement.
Blood in the concrete. He let his mind speak through the power of his love.
The power of our love lets us run back and forth to the Himalayas, with the pain of his death cemented on our backs.
From glorious people who said, I am somebody, throughout their speech, from tired women who refused to move from seats, from doctors and pastors who walk the streets, to them ignorant lips saying, man, these times ain't so steep. We embrace them all.
Through the power of our love. Warning! Warning! Barrier breaking!
Fight for our rights and strike deep into the lights of freedom.
Reach inside of yourselves. Cup your hands like a glass to drink from that Niagara of incandescent red lava that flows within all of you.
And acknowledge that it can be both beautiful and destructive depending on how each or every one of you use it.
That hot and lively pool that you have throbbing in your palms, that is the power of your love.
And that pulse is like a trumpet, echoing through chambers and valves to soft strokes of a heart.
Those notes so soft yet grotesquely sharp will draw blood to get this point across. Through the power of your love.
Thank you.
And of course, right now, we want to bring up our councilwoman, our retired councilwoman, JoAnn Watson. Where's Maureen Taylor? Is she here? From Michigan Welfare Rights. Maureen Taylor, is she here? We want to, of course, present our Spirit of Detroit Awards to our councilwoman who has stood with us for all of these years on behalf of the citizens of the city of Detroit, stood fast in defiance of the corporate media, of the corporate interests that seek to do us harm. Let's express our deep appreciation to our councilwoman JoAnn Watson, who is retiring now to another avenue of struggle. We know she's not going to sit down on us. We know that. JoAnn, this is for you. Maureen, could you say a few words, please, on behalf of
I wanted to just make certain that, don't go away, before we get into the roads and walking and whatnot as we celebrate this great day and this woman, how many women go unnoticed. And with this particular victory, this special person, the years ago, I can tell you stories about we used to do radio programs and she'd come in her pajamas and it got 4:30 in the morning, and how for so many decades she has been wonderful. But she stands on the soldiers and the shoulders of Irma Henderson and Mary Ann Mahaffey and Fannie Lou Hamer and Ella Baker, and also welfare rights people that are in the audience. Step up, stand up. Marion Kramer, where is she? Nida Donor, all of the members of this organization and whatnot that have been with and standing alongside of this great woman. We can't say anything but there'll never be another one like you. Thank you. Thank you, I mean, this is great. Thank you. I give God all the praise. Only God is worthy to be praised. Thank you. Thank you, Maureen. Thank you, Abiomi Ezekwe. Thank you to the organizers of this event. Thank you to the host, great Pastor Ed Rose. Great Pastor Ed Rose. And thank you, Central United Methodist Church. Thank you for honoring this church and its legacy of hosting Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Thank you to one of the great mentors of this community and a great jurist, the Honorable Claudia Morcombe, who I love and respect. I want to thank God for everybody here who has ever marched. If you ever marched for social justice, just stand up for a minute.
If you have paid money taking a stand against the emergency manager, stand up for a minute. If you have organized, strategized, put some time in to say no to injustice, no to poverty, no to war, stand up. I want to thank God for you. You are the leaders we all are looking for. You owe yourselves a big applause. I thank you, and I love you. I'm here because of you. As I consider this is a sacred day, the federal holiday marking the birth of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and of course we honor Congressman Conyers, who first introduced that. We should never forget the Detroit roots of Dr. King's birthday. When you consider Dr. King's life and legacy, you know he wasn't just a dreamer. He was a visionary. He was also a revolutionary warrior. He was a revolutionary warrior. And when you think about his role in Memphis, where he was lifting up economic justice, it ought to be a bridge to us today, because there's an economic war going on in the state of Michigan, across this country, across this globe. And you look at Montgomery. Montgomery was about accessing everybody to a public accommodation called the bus in Montgomery, Alabama, where Mother Rosa Parks provided great leadership and heroic leadership on behalf of our people with Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. The issue in Detroit is also connected with public accommodation.
That's right.
Belle Isle is a public accommodation issue.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Yeah.
The water is public accommodation. When you look at Mississippi, where my mama's from. Come on now. My daddy's from Alabama. But Mississippi had a siege on voting rights. And look at Michigan.
Yeah.
Attacking voting rights.
I know that's right.
In our face. And thank God for attorneys like one of my favorite attorneys, Jerry Goldberg, who took it to the streets and took it to the courtroom and won victory. Those other $1 million attorneys were left twisted in the wind while Jerry Goldberg was a pro bono attorney to the black people. What's happening in this city is a wealth transfer. There's a wealth transfer in Detroit. Make no mistake about it. Make no mistake about it. It's a wealth. So when you consider the economic empowerment that Dr. King, on his last days physically on this earth, was standing up for the garbage workers in Memphis. And I have a whole lot of respect for them. My daddy drove a garbage truck to the city of Detroit. I wouldn't be standing here if it not for the garbage workers. And the union. My daddy was a union man. My big daddy was a local 600 UAW. We are here because of the union movement. So the attack on economic, public accommodation, voting rights, which Dr. King stood up for in the 60s and the 50s, all of those issues are present in Detroit and all over the state of Michigan. The lawlessness and the ruthlessness of this governor. It ought to be called Snydergate.
I know that right. Come on.
When one considers that the people in this state, 2.3 million, said no to emergency management. What did the ruthless, lawless people go? They went and put another EM law back into effect. Unconstitutional, illegal, lawless, ruthless.
Yeah.
So what should the people do? We've marched, we've sued, we've protested. I'm the only elected official last year who filed an official opposition to the bankruptcy because the city didn't file bankruptcy. An appointee of the governor filed bankruptcy. So the entire bankruptcy proceedings are illegal in my view. The city didn't file. The federal court says you ought to be an elected official to file bankruptcy for a municipality. No elected official filed. This is an issue that's got to be ramped up, amped up. We need to take it to the White House. We need to take it to the White House. And I'm a supporter of the president. I fought for him. Both my daughters, I think they're here. Both my daughters campaigned, both times, hard and heavy. The whole family worked to get the president in and back in. So we have a right. Michigan, which put the president in, Detroit, which put the president in, we have a right to demand representation on an issue that involves the constitutional protection and the democratic principles of the people of the city of Detroit and the state of Michigan, which cannot be breached. I don't want anybody from Washington, D.C. coming here having tea and crumpets with the governor. Help me, Holy Ghost. I don't want anybody acting like it's okay. It's not okay. You can't come in here and take away our voting rights, take away our constitutional protection, take away the pensions from the elderly, take away the schools from the babies, steal our money, steal our assets, and tell us it's okay, and talk about a new regime. There's no new regime. The only regime in town, in this state right now, is the Tea Party running it. We ought to stand up and not try to negotiate with the historic enemy. Take it to the White House. That's right. Take it to the White House. Yeah. And I love Michelle Obama. It's time for her to do something other than let's move. Let's move unconstitutional behavior out of Michigan. Let's move undemocratic behavior out of Michigan. Let's move oppression out of Michigan. Let's move with the attack on voting rights out of Michigan. Let's move racism out of Michigan. Let's move terrorism out of Michigan. Let's move evil out of Michigan. We've gone too far for anybody to make us think it's okay.
No, that's right.
And we ought to just learn to live with it. We ought to take a little oppression. We ought to take somebody beating us over the head. We have options, and the first option, number one, is organized. The Christian movement that built the very church we're in right now. What did Jesus do? He organized. He organized. He had 12 disciples. And one of those betrayed, another one denied, another one doubted, but he still had 12. He organized. Even when you organize, it's not going to be perfect, but it means you're going to make a difference. When you organize, you can strategize. When you strategize, and when you fight, you can win. You go along, and you get along, and you want to act like you're in denial, and all of us can make it anyhow. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. And what's happening in Detroit, in Michigan, is a threat to the very fabric of this nation. And if they can do it in Detroit, they're going to do it everywhere. They're already doing sample EMs all over Louisiana. There's some sample EMs all over Mississippi. There's some sample EMs going through some other states. Michigan is a test case. We ought to respond to that test and say we're the best. We're not taking it. We're not going anywhere. The limits of tyrants is determined by the tolerance of those whom they oppress. President Douglas. So the key is, will we tolerate? Will we tolerate terrorism in our backyard and our front yard on both sides? No. The banks ought to be held accountable for what they've done to this city. Snydergate ought to be held accountable. He shouldn't even have time to run for office. He ought to be running from a grand jury. We who believe in freedom should not rest. We who believe in freedom should not rest until we die. God bless you. Thank you.